Hey guys, got some cool gear. Just about everything's new to me, used but new to me. But I don't have a lot of battery power tonight, so we'll just see how far we can get, okay? Not new to me is the Wizamet Super Iridium Extra Stainless. It's got, what does it look like, 16 uses approximately. And then the head here of the Karve razor. This is the A. Yeah, the solid bar A. But then now we get to the new stuff. The Gladius handle is really neat. And I did manage to secure one. More later. This is a Zenith Silvertip brush, and I believe it's the P10. I have a B10 that has the same handle, but it's red. And I actually used a Dremel tool to file down these ridges because they didn't really feel too good. But we're looking forward to trying the Silvertip knot because I have not yet tried the Silvertip from Zenith. I'm a big fan of their boar brushes, but let's try their Silvertip. And then I just got in a soap that was from a sample that I used a couple of weeks ago. I liked it so much that I thought, hey, I'll keep my eyes open on the used market. And wouldn't you know it, a couple days later, #1 from Zingari Man. And this is that big old heavy glass jar. Cologne type scent, really enjoyable. And so that's going to be terrific, I'm sure. All right, get my face wet. And now I'm back in the world of a noisy faucet, right? So I'll try to pause that in the future for you. When I bought my Karve razor, this is the handle that I opted for. I got the 3-inch and it looked way too short. And so this was the next size up, which is the 3.5. This is the 3.25. And I was thinking that maybe the 3.25 might be a perfect length because this one does look a little long, proportionally speaking. However, I love the way it balances. So it'll be fun to play around with something new. Also, take a look. You can see the difference in patina. Now I did hand polish the end there and the ferrule here. And so this one's full matte, full Be Blessed finish. And I just got it a week ago or so. And so it really hasn't had time to develop any patina. This one, the knurling area here is full patina and unpolished. So they will start to look like each other as this one sees more use. Also, the cap that I have has been hand polished, so it's got a little bit of a shine to it. But the base plate is one of the first ones I got. And as you can see, it's still bead blasted, and it does have some patina. Here's a kind of unpatinaed handle with a patina base plate. And it's all open now, so let us take the Wizamet blade and put it on. Wizamet's been cutting well for me. So we'll see how this 3.25-inch handle is for the Karve. Proportionally, it looks just right. I guess the only thing it could do is maybe move my grip up just a little bit. So that'll be fun to try out. I think it's a gorgeous handle too, just a slight difference from the original Karve handle. Okay, face is wet. I can smell that soap. That's awesome. The Silvertip here, when it was dry, I just got it in. When it was dry and I pushed on it like this, I could feel a good bit of backbone. And so it does feel like it has more backbone in the shaft portion of the hairs, of the bristles, more so than something like a Macedo Silvertip, a Whip Dog Silvertip. Those are more on the soft. Kent, those are on the plush side. The Bunny Tail Snow Puppy Dog Soft. So let's just see what this ends up to be. I have shaken most of the water out. And let's do a load. Why don't we do 40 seconds? We'll start at the 45 mark. So then 15 on the next minute is going to be the 30 mark. So 25 on the next minute. And if it looks like I'm not loading, yeah, we're doing okay. So 25 more seconds. So now we're going to go to the 30 mark since I paused for about 5 seconds. Not a whole lot of froth jumping up. That's okay. What a great scent. And that is whatever I told you I was going to load for. I say 40 seconds. Okay, I'm going to rinse off the threading on the tub. All right, let us angle you down a little bit. Let's start working this lather up. The water soak prior to the shave definitely softened up the backbone of the bristles. Feeling a little dried now, so I might as well start adding some water. Right now the level of softness I'm feeling as I move the brush around, I can feel the flex of the bristles. I'm really happy with that. I really like this knot. Zenith does make the Silvertip with a more ergonomic knot that doesn't have these little ridges right here. Lather seems to have sucked up that 1.5 teaspoon pretty easily. Now we're at a total of 3 teaspoons in the lather, 3 teaspoons of water. We got a little lather escaping through the little brush hole there. Handle is getting slippery, and so I'm having to change my grip. It's not all that comfortable. Now you see how that collapsed? That tells me, since I have such little quantity here, that I really needed to load a little bit more soap. So I'm going to kind of get the excess off of this. Get my soap tub again. This time I'm going to add a little water to the top of the soap, and it will mix with the brush and kind of help to accelerate the loading process. So let's just kind of load for another 15 seconds. That's 10. And 15. Guys, thank you so much for your kindnesses regarding our accident recently, car crash that we were in. Everybody walked away and is safe, and the swelling on my hand is almost looking normal. Still got some discoloration, some bruising. You can see those red marks. Thank you very much for the kind words and encouragement. So now we've got 4 teaspoons of water in the lather. 4.5. I don't have a battery meter going on my phone, so it may quit without letting me know. You know, when I'm in camera mode, I don't have a battery meter. There we go. Looks like we've got plenty now. Still looks like it's not gotten too thick from the soap, and it's because I had it hydrated really well, probably too wet, before I went to the tub and loaded more soap. And that was intentional, because I knew if I'd be bringing more soap into it, that level of water hydration would be fine. Looks great. I like the way the brush is feeling in terms of the way the hairs are moving as I contact the bowl. Feels like it's going to be very comfortable. And let me get my face wet. And this smells good. You can read the notes in the video description in the soap portion. It's easy splaying out quite a bit. It's not luxuriously soft. I may have left a little bit too much soap in my beard, so that could be flushing out my lather. So I'm going to go back to the tub just for a quick second. So the tips on this brush currently are not as soft as like a finest badger brush, you know, that has the bleached or processed tips. It's not as soft as, you know, the other silver tips that I mentioned, like Whip Dog, that sort of thing. Still kind of feeling a little sparse. Also, you know, the person who had this, I could have done a treatment of it with shampoo that has conditioner in it, or just a conditioner treatment itself, which I believe is not good for the brush, for the bristles. This is a handle that's kind of difficult to hold on to, so let's do a little bit of rinsing. Kind of a chore to hold on to it when it's all slick like that. This jar is kind of narrow, so I mean it's industry standard, but this brush kind of gets caught up in there. So the comfort is nice on this, and in terms of the backbone, it does seem to be flicking soap around. Almost reminds me of a young boar, the way it's kind of killing this lather. So I may have to, maybe I'll use Williams with it, which will do a good job of killing the conditioner that might be on this brush, if it is on. we've definitely spent plenty of time, and look at that. It's just not quite right. Maybe I made a mistake and got this lather too wet. That's nice. Don't need lather right there. Okay. All right, let's see how the Wizamet does in the nice, smooth, usually, A base plate. A. Which I love how it gives me very smooth shaves. It's been too long since I've used it. Very comfortable, but I do hear and feel it cutting. It's a great head. Very nice. Lots of glide. Protected well. I still feel nice slickness right now, even though most of the lather's kind of been moved away. And rinse. Didn't rinse a whole lot, just kind of a half rinse because I want to keep that little bit of that slickness on my face. I did dab my beard so it doesn't have water. This is a wet lather. I definitely got this guy a little too wet. So let's just, why not, go back to the soap again. Why don't we try a twisting motion like this? And then it can mix with the water, highly wet lather that's on my face. Hopefully firm it up, cream it up just a bit. So these tips are not the softest, but I want to use it some before I kind of make that declaration. Just in case maybe the other guy hadn't used it in a while, or like I said, put some kind of treatment on it. So that thickened up the lather just a little bit, actually, not very much. Very, very slick. And I can still feel just a little bit of blade edge with that A. And that's why it's one of my favorites. Very smooth, comfortable, but it's still got enough edge to really do a good job of cutting. And looks like it's a good, friendly compatriot to the Wizamet. We're just doing some kind of touch-up areas right there in my trouble spot. And rinse. Now, because the lather in my bowl seems to be just consistently too wet, before I even do anything, I'm going to get a little bit more soap. Just kind of, I don't have a lot in the bowl, but it's wet, so let's work it. see if we can put together a nice third pass. If I'm okay with this brush knot, with the Zenith Silvertip, but I don't love it, I might just keep this brush and not buy the one with the better handle, since I'm probably not going to use this one too much. Okay, there we go. I really like the backbone here of this brush. And we'll just see if the tips change over time. If they do, then I might like the whole brush. This is probably a lather that a straight razor shaver would really want to be able to use in their shaves. What a great scent it is. I do remember that it was a signature scent. It's a custom scent that they put together on their own. It's not one that was inspired by anything else. She had a scent maker, craft it for her, I believe is the description on the website. The Slickness, guys, and this is why I wanted this. I wanted something from Zingari Man, because this secondary slickness right now on my face is just crazy good. What a privilege. That is just a luxurious soap to use, both as entertainment for the nose, enjoyable, and also the feel. Terrific. The contact slickness on your face is great. The creaminess factor, the feel of the brush with the cream, with the lather, terrific. Really glad I was able to snag up some of that. Looks like we are about 4 2/3 teaspoons of water, and who knows how much loading I had to do. It could be that this brush, because of its more relaxed backbone, which I love as it's working on my face, needs more load time because of that relaxed backbone. It doesn't dig into the soap as much. I could also keep the brush a little wetter when I go to load. Instead of shaking as much water out, leave a little bit of water in there. Sometimes that helps as well. Not a lot, but a little bit more. So in terms of soap usage ratios and things like that, today is a bust because of all the adding I had to do. But I don't mind that some days. That is just the way it goes. I don't even remember thinking about the razor. I just picked it up and went with it. So balance is good. The visual is good. The handle obviously is a matter of subjective evaluation, but I think it looks nice, pretty. And so I think that's success. This is the 3 1/4. Now, because sometimes the Gladius handles are not available, I went ahead and ordered 2. I ordered the 3 1/4, which is a little shorter than the one I've always used, and then I ordered one that was the same length as the one I always used, just in case I got a hold of this one and thought it was too short. I don't think that's the case, but I got it anyway. All right, tremendous. And after the shave, I decided to go with some Thayers Witch Hazel. This is the unscented, alcohol-free version. So it's not as concentrated with the Witch Hazel as the alcohol version. I was just reading online, and Thayers calls the one with the alcohol, it just calls it an astringent. It calls this one the alcohol-free, it calls it a toner. And so if you're shopping like I have on Amazon or whatever, and you're looking for the witch hazel toner that's alcohol, that has alcohol, then it may be tough to find that. So I'm going to go search the Thayers witch hazel astringent, the original astringent, and see what I get there. I understand that the alcohol is a natural byproduct that always happens when you extract the witch hazel. So you'll get a stronger witch hazel effect if you have the alcohol version. I like to spray it on my hands, that way the witch hazel just doesn't run down between my fingers. And this version doesn't have a whole lot of witch hazel in it. Somebody educated said maybe about 8% when you look at the ingredients list. And mostly it's kind of an aloe toner type solution. I was also reading online about witch hazel, which is an astringent, and alcohol splashes. They are both astringents, and so you are kind of doing double duty. Pick one. In terms of if you're wanting to focus on function, then I would pick one and use it and not both. However, if you just want to duplicate your work there, that's fine. I could see myself doing a little bit of, and I've done this before, if I have an alcohol splash and it's one that's a little potent, like some of Sterling's, I'll put some witch hazel on my face first before I do the alcohol splash. And the witch hazel seems to help my skin to get used to it, to be ready, to be a little bit nourished, to be ready for the alcohol. So, witch hazel, alcohol splash, both kind of the same things in terms of the astringent properties. And if you want to trim down your routine just a touch, you could eliminate one of those. If you like scent, then I'd advise going with the alcohol splash. If you like kindness to your face and back off on the alcohol a little bit, then maybe the witch hazel might be the better choice. I've heard it also has some other good properties. You can also done something I've done. I've taken a little spray bottle, poured in half of an alcohol splash, and then the other half, the witch hazel. Worked great. If this brush is the P10, which I believe it is, the effective loft, the website says, it's about 45 millimeters. And that's because there's a glue bump right here. It's actually a little bit taller if you were to measure from this collar here to the very top. The diameter of the knot is approximately 24.5 millimeters. That's, I believe, what the website said. And yes, I do find these little ridges here annoying. So very much like my B10, the boar brush with this handle, I could take my Dremel, get rid of those guys if I want to keep this very brush around. I'll use it some more before I make any alterations. Big bloom, 24 millimeter knot, but big bloom. I'll use this guy with some Williams next maybe, and we'll see if we can kind of clean him up. Visually, doesn't seem like you can tell the difference between a Pole Silver and the Wizamet. They both say the same thing on them. Super Iridium, extra stainless. They do both feel very good to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the same, but they're both good blades and do my skin a very good service. I wanted to mention, guys, there's a new razor that I didn't even know about until yesterday. The Charcoal Goods Everyday Razor. And it looks like they have stepped back, and maybe they're realizing and hearing from people about the aggression levels that's in their current offerings, because the new one has a much firmer grip on the blade, closer to the edge, and is said by many reviewers to be a lot more mild, and I'm a big fan of that. I like the design and the appearance of the charcoal goods, and I have mentioned it on this channel several times. I know I had to sell mine because it was just too aggressive, but I've got one on order. I bought it used. They are currently out of stock, I think. I don't think they're as expensive as the other razors, but I could be wrong. They don't look quite as nice as the Gen 1 and Gen 2 heads, but I'm looking forward to trying it out. I've got a torpedo handle coming with it, which visually doesn't look like a really ergonomic handle for me. It looks like where I'm going to hold it is where those 3 rings are. And but we'll see. We'll give it a shot. And then I've got the maze handle. Torpedo is going to be the longer handle, and then the maze is going to be a little bit shorter. So that will be fun to try out. It's the brass version, and that's coming. All right. Got some other things on the way. Maybe I'll make a list for you. Got some single-edge razors I might try to bring into the picture here in the next few weeks. And I believe we are going. Look at that. By habit, I reassembled my Karve with the original handle that I usually use. So let me switch that out to the Gladius. Man, I love the A. I love the A base plate here. Solid bar, smooth. I may try the double A tomorrow because it'll be even smoother than the A. Lovely. I think that's it. Using the witch hazel has allowed that wonderful smell of the number 1 to continue to be around me. And so that's another reason I chose that post-shave product today. If you use alum as your astringent, remember to rinse it off because it is a salt and it'll dry your skin out. If you have dry skin, I encourage you to use something like witch hazel instead of alum because of the drying properties of alum. So just make sure you rinse it. Witch hazel, this toner, is an astringent that you don't have to rinse off if you don't want to. All right, guys, it looks like the battery held up well, long enough for the video to happen. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves, and I had a great shave today. The soap, I've already told you how wonderful that was in the different areas of slickness and feel and creaminess and hydration. The brush felt pretty good. Looking forward to more uses with it to let it settle in. The Thayers was a great choice afterwards to allow the scent of the soap to continue. Razor, wonderful, and a great match with the Wizamet. I think we're good. Hey, you take care. Have a good night.